Just happened we both wearing like almost the same outfit.
All I wear is black.
Man, you and me both. Black, gray, or white, man. That's me all day.
Mic check 1, 2. All right. 2 minutes in. All right. Let me get in state real quick. Give me a second.
Yeah, go ahead. Do your thing.
All right, bro. You ready?
I'm ready, bro.
I'm ready too, man.
I'm ready to rock, bro.
Let's do it.
Let's get it, man.
It's another beautiful day. Yeah. You want to do another freestyle?
Yeah, let me see if I can get one. Go ahead, bust it.
No, I cannot rap, bro.
Oh, I could rap a little bit.
All right, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
It's dream to reality. I'm in the fast lane going on the... All right, Ray, Don, check it. Nah, I can't do it.
That's all good, bro.
Hey, keep that blooper.
Keep the blueprint?
Keep the blooper.
I like
Keep
the beginning part was cool.
Shout out to Nip, you feel me? Dreams to reality. Shout out to Animal, man. We doing big things tonight.
We're doing it. What's up, guys? Annabelle here. You are watching Dreams to Reality podcast. What episode is this now? This is episode 28.
Sheesh. Last.
They said we wouldn't last past one, bro.
Hey, sheesh.
But we've made it. We made it this far, and we got a lot more to go.
Yes, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, hope you're having a wonderful day. We have a very special show for you today. I have my friend on the podcast today. He is an entrepreneur, a public speaker, a realtor specializing in single-family residence and multi-units. He's also a 3-time collegiate champion in football americano.
Football americano, y'all.
Yo, take a look at those rings that he has, bro. Too many diamonds. I was like, damn.
Hard work and dedication.
That's it, man. So please help me welcome Andre Myles Jr.
Thank you, y'all. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Welcome, brother. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Annabelle.
It's a dream turned into a reality, and you are here. How's your day been today, man?
Oh, man, it's been a beautiful day. Any
Yeah.
day above ground, man, they say is a good day. So you got to learn to
We're alive.
for something.
You got to be grateful for what you have, and being
right.
alive is definitely one of them.
Oh, for sure.
So I am definitely grateful, and I am grateful to have you here.
Thank you,
know,
brother.
it's
Thanks for
it's a
having
pleasure meeting you. Actually, I know really nothing about you. You know,
Yeah.
today's the first time that I've met you, and you know, you came highly recommended by a good friend of mine, Mr. Gary Cornegay Jr.
Yes, sir. Shout out to G2, man.
Shout out, brother.
Shout out to the Corner hierarchy and all that
That's
stuff,
it.
man.
That's it. So he said that, you know, you have a really great story and that you would, you know, impact a lot of people coming onto this show. So I'm excited to get to know you, you know, find out your story and what you do.
Yeah.
And, you know, just chatting to you before getting the podcast started, you know, I'm excited for this episode.
Me too, bro. Me too, man. I was just on the drive out here. I was like, man, Annabelle got this spot set up in my hometown of Pasadena. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's right. You're from Dina?
I'm from Dina, man. I grew up in Rialto, but you know, you got to you know how people is in the IE.
Yeah.
I'm from LA, but I live in Fontana.
That's funny, man. I grew up in Ontario, bro. I'm from the IE as well.
Okay, so IE love. Shout out
I
to
got a big
IE.
old IE tatted on my chest.
Do you really?
No, I don't, bro. But that'd be pretty sick, though, huh?
Yeah, it would. We need to start repping the IE, man. That's
I'm
a
gonna
lot
have
of great
I'm gonna
minds
have
out there.
Ontario on the back, you know, with an E
Ontario.
instead of an A.
Ontario Boulevard, my friend.
That's funny, man. Yeah, so you know, I know that you're in real estate.
Yep.
I know that you're a public speaker. I've seen some of your posts on Instagram.
Yeah.
You're a motivating individual
Most
and a
definitely.
captivating guy, and you're very you have a lot of charisma.
Thank you.
You know, so so I'm excited to kind of find out a little bit more about you. I didn't know you even played football until you came with those rings. I'm like, geez, what are those?
Oh man, that's the bloodline right there. You know, that's the battery to the car.
That's it.
You know, without the football, it's like kind of, I wouldn't say it would be no me, but the me you looking at would be a lot. It would be a lot different.
What school did you play for?
I played in junior college first. I was unrecruited out of high school. I came from Carter High School, unrecruited, and I just kept the journey going. You know, it's really hard to, if you ever seen the Netflix episode Last Chance University, I was on Last Chance University before it was an idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My last chance U was 09, coming out of high school, unrecruited, and being kicked out of a couple schools before we ended up graduating from Azusa Pacific. And
it sounds like there's a lot of stories in there, bro. Getting kicked out of schools, and you know, you have your football journey. So let's get into it, man. Tell me a little about, you know, your upbringing and your football career. You know, how that started, how that ended, and how that led into what you're doing now.
Yeah, for sure, man. I grew up in so I'm from Pasadena, California. I actually grew up on Los Robles and Orange Grove, right up the street.
You're in your hood, bro.
Yeah, I'm in my hood, man. We grew up in Community Arms. All my family, my dad went to my mom went to Blair.
Yeah.
But they moved us out of Pasadena to seek some better opportunities because we kind of grew up in a gang-infested area. Yeah.
So you started moving east.
Yeah. So we moved east, man, because that was like the Victorville of our day back there. From Pasadena to Rialto, the house, the prices, the different prices in houses is way different, you know?
Yeah, not to jump off, you know, your story and your subject, but that's exactly why most people are moving out of California.
Exactly.
The further east, you know, the cheaper the properties are. When I was in high school, my freshman year, my parents were trying to purchase a house, and they couldn't afford it. You know, we were living in Ontario at the time, and back then Victorville was literally like nothing. You know, so it didn't make sense for them. We ended up moving to Texas. You know, we moved to Texas. You could buy back then, even now a little bit. You could buy a freaking mansion, bro, for like 200,000, 300,000. So we moved to El Paso, Texas.
Oh man, in El Paso, right by UTEP down there, man, too.
Well, we bought a house in East El Paso where it was brand new.
Gotcha.
Everything was like dirt cheap, man. My mom, like, she literally built the house from the ground up for like 80,000.
I'm telling you,
I think it's like 200, 300,000 now and stuff. So
that's the move.
Yeah,
that's the move. I'm even thinking about doing. It's just like, you know, the California, we got so many different weather types.
Yeah.
You know, you got the deserts, you got the mountains, you got the snow.
Yeah.
You got the ocean, you got every kind of terrain that you could really,
whatever you're into, California has it. I tell people this all the time. If you're from California, specifically Southern California, the LA area, whatever you're into, whatever you like, you're literally an hour away from it, or half an hour away from it. Hey, I want to go to the beach. All right, go to the freaking beach. It's an hour away. Hey, I want to go to the mountains. Right over there. I want to go to the desert. It's right over there. Yep. Whatever your vibe is, whatever music you like, you know, if I'm into rock, or I'm into hip hop, or I'm into like some freaking goth vampire EDM or some shit, it's popping here.
Yeah, for
sure. If you're into entertainment, whatever type of entertainment, this is where it's at. Food. Period. Hey, man, I want to get some Korean barbecue. Hey, man, Koreatown. Hey, I want to get some, you know, Mexican food. That shit's everywhere.
Hey, but
Italian,
but I will tell you, though, Annabelle, when I went to Texas,
the
Mexican food in California, y'all got what's called what's the Mexican food over there called?
They call it Tex-Mex.
No.
It's trash, bro.
Absolutely not, bro.
Hey, sorry to my Texas people, but your food
we love
is
y'all.
freaking
Shout
trash,
out. Everything
man.
is bigger in Texas, but everything is
but
bigger
not the
in
Mexican
Texas,
food.
No, we got that on lock.
Yeah, you guys got to come check out our Mexican food.
Yeah, you got to check it out. Fontana, Ontario, La Puente, LA. They make a better Mexican burrito in Fontana, okay? So,
Yeah, bro, I went to Texas probably like a year and a half ago to Dallas, and I ordered their burrito. They don't even freaking fold their burritos, bro. Shit was falling off all the way. I was like, what is this? This is like a quesadilla burrito. Like, you guys don't even fold it right.
Yeah, nah.
But that's their style, man. You know, they got their style, and everybody likes their uniqueness of, you know, this is Tex-Mex food, you know, or whatever.
Yeah.
But
y'all can keep that, though.
Yeah, they can keep it. You know?
Yeah, y'all can keep that. Y'all can keep that.
But I want to get those cheap houses, though, man.
Yeah, we want the houses, but we going to bring our animal. We can bring in our tacos, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, we bring it. Wow.
Sorry about that, man. I didn't mean to get you off track.
Oh, no, it's all good.
But, go ahead. Go back into your story.
But, yeah, man. So, my family from Pasadena, we moved out to, you know, the Inland Empire for a better opportunity. My father purchased a house out there.
Yeah.
And I grew up just me and my 5 sisters. I'm the only boy of 5 sisters.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's
a lot of estrogen in the house, bro.
Oh, yeah, but my sisters are estrogen mixed with testosterone, estradiol.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like boys, you know?
Yeah.
So growing up with them, it was fun, and I always was into sports. I had an uncle who played at Muir High School. They used to call him the bus.
Damn, was he big or something?
Matter of fact, excuse me, they called him the stop sign.
The stop sign.
The stop sign.
Oh,
that was my uncle's name. And
as soon as you hit him, was like, bah,
yeah, he was a big dude. And he got a scholarship to Arizona. So growing up, I remember being 8, 9 years old, going down to Tucson, you know, with my pops, going to see my uncle play. And it's one thing to represent at school, but it's another thing to have somebody playing for that school represents your last name.
Yeah.
So when I would see Myles on the board, you know, it felt like it was me out there.
Yeah.
It felt like it was something that was possible for me, seeing everybody bear down Arizona in the big old stadium. I mean, it's so loud that people's voice are echo in your feet. You feel the rumble.
You can feel it in your chest.
I didn't even know I wanted to play football. I just said, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Right, going to see him. So I started playing.
You call that inspiration, brother.
Oh, good.
You were inspired.
I was inspired, man. That exposure to that, you know, I mean, I watch football all on TV all the time, but that exposure part of it, actually being in the environment, being exposed, being on the sidelines, having a sideline pass, getting to experience the players, getting my own gloves, you know, doing all those different things, man, really put me in a position and like, wow, could I really do this? Seeing my uncle graduate and see him make the type of money he was making, it was like, man, I started to realize things at a young age. It's like, man, if you can get an education, you can make more money. If you can make more money, you can live in a better neighborhood. If you can live in a better neighborhood, you have more opportunities.
You were thinking about all this stuff when you were a kid.
Dude, man, ask my family. I was like reading.
I was dumb when I was a kid, bro.
Man, I don't know why, Animal. It was just like God made me like that. I was like, I've been so focused for a long time.
Let me rephrase that. I was not dumb when I was a kid.
Yeah, I was about to say,
but I was not exposed to the better life until I was much, much older. Yeah. So, you know, when all you know is, you know, poverty, then you think that's normal. You do. You know, just like people that are raised with wealth, all they know is wealth. All they know is wealth. All they hear is wealth. So they tend to replicate that. And same thing for poverty. If all you know is poverty, you tend to replicate it. Yeah. So I really respect people that, you know, come from a hard upbringing, that come from poverty, that come from hardship and are able to figure the shit out, you know, because it's much different than someone that just, you know, came from, hey, everything was handed to me, everything was easy, compared to someone that, hey, man, I've experienced struggle. I've experienced, you know, what it is to suffer. And in that suffering, I figured the shit out. You know, I figured out. And the reason why I respect that is because that's where I come from. Mm-hmm. You know, that's where I connect with. You know, I can't connect as much with someone that things were easy for them. They were very whatever, because I don't have that. You know, I came from a humble upbringing. Yeah. So, you know, I really like to hear that success story from, you know, that Rocky story, you know. Everybody loves that shit.
Everybody do, but not everybody can relate, like you said. Just, you know, if I was kind of handed some things, it was just like I was handed some things, you know. Yeah. It was called a hand-me-down.
Yeah, bro, same shit here. I gotta wear my brother's freaking old uniforms and shit.
But you would learn to appreciate when you get your own things. Yeah. And then you get on the other side of the spectrum as being an adult and growing up, and maybe you have multiple brothers and multiple sisters starting to look at things and say, dang, man, my dad was really trying to make this work out. Yeah. Even though I had my shoes from Payless or Kmart. I remember one time I got a pair of shoes from Stater Brothers. Yeah.
You know,
exactly,
Stater Brothers.
Exactly. It's not too many people.
You know what's funny, bro? I remember going to like these Mexican grocery stores. I think it was called like
Conocidias?
No, it wasn't Cardenas. It was like some other like damn, what's the name of it? It's more in the LA area. But anyways, they would sell Chuck Taylors in these big old bins. Yeah. That's before they're like $70 now. Back then they were like $15, bro.
You talking about the ones that didn't come in a box? They was connected.
They were connected
with the little rubber band.
Exactly,
thing.
Bro. Yeah. And we would just buy them like that, like here, your shoe size, and you know, we call those ampolla makers or blister makers, bro. Yeah, exactly. They were just made out of straight plastic and shit. You just get all kinds of blisters until your feet were like made out of steel.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Them was some good shoes, though.
Yeah, I ran fast with those, bro.
Hey, shout out to Chuck Taylors and PF Flyers, man.
That's it, brother. PF Flyers. Benny the Jet Rodriguez. Hey, that's it, bro.
I thought I was Benny the Black Rodriguez. You know what I mean?
That's funny, man.
Oh man. So yeah, man. So we was out there, and we was just trying to make some things happen. You know, my dad was the main breadwinner in the home. So growing up, my mom, she did work though. You know, she wasn't a stay-at-home mom by any means. Mm-hmm. But I did see my mom get a chance to level up. You know, from working at Jack in the Box and working at McDonald's to landing a job at Kaiser.
Oh, that's awesome.
My dad had a phenomenal job by the grace of God, because he was getting in trouble back in the day. But, man, by the grace of God, they had that program in Pasadena. It was like a program to basically for kids that were, you know, in junior college. You could come do these summer programs at places like Jet Propulsion Laboratory, NASA, Caltech. And my dad ended up landing a permanent job and work at Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, right here in La Cunada for like 26 years.
Yeah, well, people don't know Pasadena's got it's got some smart people in here.
Hey,
man. we got NASA, we got Caltech, we got there's also the Art Center College. There's all kinds of shit
Lockheed
here.
Martin. You know, I mean, my uncle was ended up being not a CFO. He was like one of them C's. Charles Miles, the one I told you who inspired me to play football. He ended up alternating out of football and getting into computer science.
That's awesome.
He got a master's degree in computer science and got a gig over there at Caltech with Lockheed. So I was kind of seeing all these different dynamics, you know, trying to figure it out for myself. And I figured if I'm going to put myself in a position, because my family, I for sure know they couldn't pay for me a scholarship. You know, not pay for me a scholarship, pay for my education.
Yeah.
But I knew that seeing other people do things like my uncle, that I could earn a scholarship through my athletic ability.
Yeah.
But like I told you, coming out of high school, I was unrecruited. So what do you do?
Yeah.
Last Chance University, right?
What is that exactly? Explain that.
Last Chance University is basically a good name for saying this is your last chance to make it to a university.
Okay.
The junior college system is one of the biggest systems in California. There's not a lot of junior colleges in other states.
So let's say you're a kid in high school right now that has a passion for football and wants to make it into the NFL, right?
Yeah.
What's the regular trajectory?
Oh, man, I'm talking about less than, you're talking about 0.0000000%
So typically if, let's say you're a highly gifted athlete, you're playing high school football, people are saying, damn, this he has what it takes to make it into the NFL. What are the steps? Do you go into a college? Do you go straight into the NFL, or how do you get recruited into an NFL team?
Okay, so getting to an NFL team, it's not like the NBA. You can't just come straight out of high school, skip college, and go to the league. Yeah. Number one, football is a lot different, especially with the body. Yeah. It's not a lot of 18-year-old young boys out there that have a body that's developed like an NFL player.
Yeah, you got to have some freaking ridiculous genetics, bro.
Yeah.
Or steroids.
Yeah, or steroids. And more likely you're going to die soon. So the process is, man, you got to go to a college. Okay. Some type of a university. At that university, you usually go to what they call combines. Mm-hmm. Some of those are, every school has their own combine. A combine is for people that they think that could play at the next level. Okay. So you're going to do certain drills. You're going to do agility drills. You're going to run a 40. You're going to do a bench press. You're going to do your vertical. You're going to do
they're like writing
jump.
Down all your numbers. And shit.
And and they're putting you in a group with all of these other people, right? Yeah. So it's like this guy.
You're like a statistic, pretty much.
You're a statistic. So for safeties, the average broad jump is XYZ. For a safety, the average bench press is XYZ. I see. For safeties, the average 40-yard dash is XYZ. And now all of that matters, but it really comes down to ranking of schools, like a Division I school. Yeah. You got a Division I AA school. Okay. You got a Division II school, right? Okay. You got a Division III school.
Does anybody get recruited to the NFL from those?
Oh, yeah, yeah. My school, I went to Azusa Pacific, where there's a very famous gentleman named Christian Okoye. Mm-hmm. They called him Nigerian Nightmare. He ended up playing for the Kansas City Chiefs. He's still coming to my school. Shout out to Christian, man.
Shout out, brother.
Shout out. Yeah, we had
Nigerian Nightmare. I thought that was Francis Ngannou, MMA.
Yeah, he's like the new Nigerian Nightmare, right? But yeah, he was the football playing, Christian Okoye. He was the football playing. So that's really the process. You got to go to school. You got to get in the combine.
Yeah, so you have to have good grades.
Yeah, and that's what gets a lot of people in trouble. Not only the grades. Now, a lot of these kids, man.
Not only good grades, but you have to, pass.
Yeah, but my coach, I'm going to tell you these things, kids, man. My coach used to tell me right there, even if you're not the brightest, C's get degrees. Okay?
That's it, bro. You know what's the difference between an A+ doctor and a C doctor?
Well, tell me.
Nothing. They're both doctors, bro.
They both doctors, right? They both got that title. He don't say A+ doctor.
Hey, bro, George Bush was the president, bro. He was like a D student.
Exactly. So, man, you can go far if you don't got it all together at that moment, because you're gonna mature, you're gonna get older, and you're gonna start having a realization that some of these things that you were learning in school, it wasn't that you weren't capable of doing it. You just didn't have a passion for learning that topic or subject. Right. There's things that you're just not passionate about. Like, I was not passionate about history, man. Yeah. But I was passionate about mathematics and money and finances and all that kind of stuff.
That's one thing that's important for people to find out is what drives you? What are you good at? What brings you excitement and joy? The problem with the education system that I feel that a lot of people struggle with is that they're very structured and rigorous, but everybody's different. Everybody learns different. Everybody thinks different. Everybody's inspired differently. So you know, some people are not going to be good in school, but they're good at other things.
Yeah.
You know, there's like so many stories of like college dropouts that become like multimillionaires, you know, or stories of entrepreneurs or artists or whatever that, you know, they just didn't do good in school, but that's because they didn't have a passion for it. They didn't really see the purpose behind it. Yeah. Now, if you want to be a football player, guess what? You're going to have to grin and bear it and fucking get through it and pass those grades, because you need to do that in order to get what you want. Same thing if you want to be a doctor, if you want to be an accountant, if you want to be a lawyer, you have to go through the education system. You have to do what the requisites to accomplish that. Yeah. But there's so many things that don't really require that you can be successful in outside of it. So the important thing for people is to find out, hey man, what am I good at? Yeah. What do I like to do? What do I want to do? Yeah. And just go after that shit, you know?
I look at like the school system, man, touching base on that. So many people drop out, like you mentioned, entrepreneurs. They necessarily don't have the collegiate education, but they have a self-education. You know, self-education is more important to me than, you know, a public education. Because I look at public education more so like, I like to give an analogy for it. It's like a public education is basically trying to judge a fish on how fast they can climb a tree. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like everybody climbs trees, right? But I'm a fish though. You know what I mean? Like, put me in some water and then you could, you know what I mean? Then you can honestly see my true colors. So I look at the school system as more so they teach you what to think. In entrepreneurship, self-development more so teaches you how to think about what you've been learning.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. The thing is, you know, there's a big difference between, you know, first grade through high school and then college. It's completely different, you know, as far as the education goes. But at the end of the day, the education system, you know, is created for employees. Typically, it's not created for entrepreneurs, you know, which is what you are. You're an entrepreneur. And an entrepreneur thinks very, very differently than, you know, than an employee. Yeah. And the reason why we're here today and we're talking is because we met through Gary Cornegay.
Shout out, man. Shout out to him. I can't say that enough.
Yeah, and Gary was one of my first, Gary Cornegay Sr., which is
Big G.
Big G was one of my first mentors in business. And he was one of the first people that exposed me to a different way of thinking and exposed me to entrepreneurship and business ownership. Yeah. And when I met him, my whole upbringing, my parents are self-employed, you know, so they work for themselves, but you know, it's feast or famine being self-employed. For sure. So sometimes you're making really great money and sometimes, you know, you're not, you know. So we were never like dirt poor. We never like were like starving or anything, but there was times where we had money and times where we didn't, you know. And I didn't realize that there was different ways to make income, because everything that I was taught was, hey, go to school, get some good grades, you know, go to college and then get a good job that's going to bring you security and you'll be fine. You know, you're going to get your paycheck every 2 weeks. You're going to have your 401k to retire with, and, you know, you're going to have security and so forth. So that's all I knew. Yeah. And that's what I was doing. You know, I went to school. I was, you know, doing all that stuff. And not until I met an entrepreneur, a business owner, was
a real entrepreneur, not a wantrepreneur, a real entrepreneur.
Exactly. Was when I was exposed to a different way of thinking, not only a different way of thinking, but a different way of making income. I didn't know this. Sure. So one of the first books I read, you know, once I met Gary, I started reading all kinds of books. I realized like entrepreneurs are constantly studying and learning different things. I read The Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And it talks about the 4 different ways to make income, you know, and that was my first time being exposed to it. And the reason why I was exposed is because Gary was talking about it at one of his trainings, which is, you know, 1 way is to be an employee, which is all I knew. And I knew self-employed too, which is you get paid by the hour, you know, and you trade your time for money. And that's all you do. So you go to a job, hey, I get paid $30 an hour, $40 an hour. I work 8 hours. I get paid my paycheck. The government takes their half, their taxes. And then I take that money and then I go pay other stuff which they tax as well. And I'm left with like fucking nothing. The other way was, you know, self-employed, which means you pretty much create your own job.
Right, you got a skill or a service that you can provide.
Something that you can do. But the problem with that was like what my parents struggled with was like feast or famine. Sometimes it was great and sometimes it wasn't. If they got sick, their paycheck got sick. You know, if for what the economy went down and you know, whatever happened, then they're struggling. But then I met Gary, and he told me there's two other ways you can make income. Is you can be a business owner, and you can also be an investor.
Yep.
And the difference between the entrepreneur, which is the business owner, and the investor and the employee is that on the employee and self-employed person is chasing money, you know, and the business owner and the investor are chasing freedom.
Yep.
They want to make income, but they also want to have time. They want to have, you know, the ability to make as much money as they can without having to actually be there. And the way they do that is through creating systems, creating businesses, having assets. And I had no idea what the hell this shit was.
Yep.
And it was like, I was like fucking like a fire hose being exploded into my face. Like it was just so much information coming in. I was like
the Matrix,
shit.
like you took the red pill or blue pill all of a sudden, and you was like, man, you grew up on this blue pill, and all of a sudden somebody gave you the red pill, and it's just like, man, is this reality?
Yeah, it was.
It's like it makes you even question some of the things that you've been learning from the people that taught it to you that you care about the most.
Yeah, it was a weird experience because, like I said, I grew up with everybody around me was, you know, broke. Everybody around me was working a job, or everybody around was trying to go to college. Everybody around me was like living that life. Yeah. And when I connected to the business owner, the entrepreneur, completely different way of thinking. And whenever I went back to my broke friends and I told them, hey, I learned this, I learned that. They're like, man, that's stupid. Like, you're fucking dumb. Like this and that. Like, and I was like, who should I listen to? My stupid broke friends or the billionaire over here, the millionaire over here?
But you got that little pause in your system because, man, you've been inundated with, you've been brought up on. It's like learning a whole new language.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, these people I know, I like, I trust. This person, I remember, you know, they would call it brainwashing.
Yeah.
And when you wash them, what do you do to it? You make it clean. But, you know, it gets dirty like that. So I completely understand where you're coming from. All
right, so let's jump back into your football story.
Yeah.
So, you know, obviously you're a 3-time collegiate champion.
Yes,
so
sir.
obviously.
Shout out to Mount Sac, man. Shout out to Azusa Pacific.
There you go.
Shout out to all them schools. Even RCC, man. Even though y'all hated on me, shout out to y'all, too.
So you clearly had a successful football career. How did that end, and how did that lead into, you know, your entrepreneur journey?
Man, it ended me being a champion, right? Honestly, that's really the but could I see that on my journey? I was unable to see that on my journey. I was blinded by all of the trials and tribulations I was going through, and many times I questioned myself: am I even doing the right thing? Am I in the right vehicle? Why am I here? You know, as many times I just sat in my room and cried, you know, having unforeseen injuries. You know, when you're a football player and you identify with that, it's like your reality, everything who you are. So it's just like you can't bounce a flat basketball. You know what I mean? You can't kick a flat soccer ball. And that's what an injury does to somebody who identifies as a sport as themselves.
Yeah. I
didn't have any other way of thinking about that. So
your career ended with an injury.
Man, my career ended. No, it ended good. But I'm just saying, during my journey, I was having things happen to me that was making me say, am I pursuing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Should I give up? Should I quit? Should I stop?
Did you think you wanted to get into the NFL? Did you try
I would say having an end goal in mind for me, Annabelle, is what kept me going. And it wasn't just like the NFL, like I just wanted to play for the Minnesota Vikings, or I wanted to play for shout out to the Ravens, I want to play for the Ravens. It was the things that I was going to be able to do that an NFL career was going to allow me to do when I had this type of an income. Yeah. That was my driver, you know, seeing my mom over and over and over in my imagination in a brand new car I just bought her, or you know, some of my sisters not having to pay bills, or even my dad, you know, coming to a game and being proud because his last name is out there doing these. Those were the types of things that I visualized over and over and over that really kept me going. Yeah. Through all of the different struggles that I went through in Last Chance University, going through the JUCO, through being unrecruited in high school, to, you know, starting to earn some scholarship opportunities. And I want to touch base on that, man, real quick.
Go ahead, man.
Because there's a lot of kids out there, you know, that I see that just sit back and they just trying to wait for an opportunity to come. You know, like God's just going to deliver you an Amazon package to your front door. You know, we live in this instant world. You know, you put a burrito in the microwave, it's instant. You know,
people get impatient, like, damn, hurry up 30 seconds.
Yeah, like literally, and they stopped that shit on 28. You know what I mean? Like, literally stopped it on 28. And then with Amazon, you know, you get a package now delivered to you in 2 days or same day, some of these different things. And a lot of these kids I see sit back on their butt and they don't promote themselves. Like I was unrecruited at a high school, same thing at a junior college. I ended up breaking my wrist getting into a fight, so I didn't play 2009.
Dang.
Breaking my wrist. 2010 season come, I get kicked out of school for being a loudmouth. I got into an argument with a football coach who told me I was never going to be good enough. I'll never play strong safety. I'm not fast enough. I'm not smart enough, to picking myself back up. And I'm going down to the turf fields, we call them, in Fontana off of Citrus and Summit.
Yeah.
And meeting by osmosis happened to meet a football coach out there, and he's talking to me about going to this school called Mount Sac.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, Mount Sac has all these bounce backs. A bounce back is a person who already went Division I, and they had a grade issue or they had a disciplinary issue, and now they bounce back from that school to a junior college.
Yeah.
But they were already there, so it's much easier for them to get out because I already went to UCLA, I already went to Stanford, I already went to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
And Mount Sac was known for that. They been champions, and I got a ring from there.
Oh, nice.
So it led into something. It led into something. This coach, I was talking to this coach. He asked me, "Hey, would you ever consider going to Mount Sac?" And I told this fool, "Hell no, hell no. I'm never gonna play at that damn school. Y'all got all these bounce backs, so and so and so." I was going in for about 5 minutes. He said, "Oh, really? Nice to meet you. I'm coaching you on the defensive coordinator for Mount Sac."
That's funny, man.
Yeah, so I went
You're all talking shit.
Oh, I was talking big shit too, but man, it was the biggest blessing that could have ever happened to me, man. I love that school. I ended up becoming the most inspirational player.
Wow.
Award.
What position do you play, by the way?
I played strong safety.
Oh, okay.
I played strong safety. So, so out of Mount Sac, I started getting some traction. I was like a rapper that finally started getting some streams going. You know what I mean?
You got a little hit going.
I got me one, and I noticed, man. I wasn't getting the type of traction that I wanted. I wanted to go Division I. I wanted to play D1 ball.
Yeah.
So, man, I put myself in a position. I said, you know what? I got the internet now.
Yeah.
I can look these schools up. I can look up the defensive coordinators. I can look up every person on there. And I can reach out to them and send them my. Instead of them come look for me, how about I hunt you down?
Yeah.
So I created a template. See, the entrepreneur in me was already inspired. It was already going.
Yeah.
I created my own marketing campaign. Before I even knew what a marketing campaign was, I was marketing me.
Yeah.
I started marketing myself. Hey, my name is Andre Myles Jr. Sending over my transcripts. I'm sending over my huddle film. I would love to be a Buffalo. I would love to be a Ram. I would love to be a Wildcat. I would love to be a Sun Devil. I would love to be a whatever the school was.
Yeah, you're promoting.
And it got me some hits, Annabelle.
Yeah.
People started calling me that didn't even know I existed. So I learned from that point that it was so important, not just about like what you know and who you know. It was more so important to promote yourself, believe in yourself, get out there and do things. And that's what landed me in a position to end up going Division I for a few months. I had to bounce back because of my clock, but put me in a position to where I got to Azusa Pacific, man, and I graduated from there. Did big things there, man. I did big things at that school, that school changed my heart, changed my.
What do you mean by that?
It changed. A lot of people look at the heart and they think about this. Like if I drew a picture of a heart, you would think like, what is that? That's
like an organ.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The heart is really your subconscious mind, your beliefs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny you say that because, when people say the mind, they picture a brain, but your mind is intangible. It's everywhere.
Exactly.
And when people say like, oh, he has heart, they don't mean your physical organ, which pumps blood into your body. They mean, like you said, it's your subconscious. It's your spirit, is your soul. It's that one thing that emotes emotion. So I see what you're saying.
So that it's so important though that you even, it's like when people begin to explain these things to you, it gives you a new perspective on these things, especially if you've never been exposed to some of these concepts and ideas of highly successful people.
Yeah.
It's just like, how do you want to be, if you want to be highly successful, what's the quickest way to get there is meet somebody who's highly successful and emulate what they do.
Yeah.
But if you don't have anybody who's highly successful around you, what do you do? It's just like, do you use the law of attraction and attract it to yourself? It's just like, man, no, you get out there and you want something, and eventually, I guess you would say it's a law of attraction. You putting the right energy in the universe, or if you're a believer like me, man, I'll be on bending knee, like, man, Lord, give me an opportunity to meet the right person.
Yeah. It all starts with with the desire of wanting something or wanting a certain goal or a certain thing. So, you know, typically people will envision in their mind, like, oh man, I love football. I can imagine myself like, whether it's, you know, getting to the NFL or winning a certain game or doing a certain thing. And then they picture it in their head, you know, like what it would feel like winning. They don't know how they're going to get there, but they know that's what they want.
Exactly.
But then life hits you, you know, punches you in the fucking face, and it tells you like, hey, it's not that easy, man. Do you really want this? And that is when most people quit, you know, when life in reality hits you and you're like, hey, man, I want to lose 30 pounds. And then you realize, oh, shit, I got to diet and I got to work out and it hurts and I'm suffering. I want to buy a Lamborghini. Well, that means you're going to have to work your ass off and like create a business and think and network. I want to become a football, you know, whatever, superstar. I want to join the NFL. Well, that means you're going to have to fucking train every single day. You're going to have to, you know, like you said, market yourself, talk to the right people. There is a lot of work that you have to do in order to get to wherever you want to be. You know, but the thing that you're talking about is we call that mentorship, man. And that's finding someone that has been through that, has had the same passion, had the same thoughts, had the same feelings, had the same burning desire that you have, and they figure that shit out, and now they have a plethora of wisdom and insight that they can guide you, and people will pay anything for that.
Man, people will pay anything for it.
And typically a good mentor is someone that is in a position where, hey man, I've done this shit and now I want to give back.
And that's really the biggest part, Animal, is when you really have somebody who really wants to give back. So many people are financially motivated that if they don't get the money, that they forget the reason that they started it. They forget their purpose. Yeah. And that's what happened to me. I ran into a gentleman. They had EM speed training. They had a Star speed training. They had all these different facilities back home that I couldn't afford. They were really $200-$300 a week. And I ran into this guy by the name of Mario Franklin, who was my very first mentor. Yeah. And he started training me, Animal, for $50 a month.
Oh, shit, when it's $300 a week?
A week, right? A month, right?
That's a pretty big discount.
And I felt shitty, man, because I know I felt shitty not because I wasn't getting the right type of training, because I knew the type of training I was getting, and I was unable to give him the financial means of what he was doing for me at that time. You know, I was just like, goodness gracious, I can't give you $300 a week, but you're giving me $600. It's just me and you one-on-one. You teach me about my form. You're teaching me about all these different things. Mario Franklin.
Why do you think he did that?
By the grace of God, man. Because if it wasn't for Mario Franklin, I wouldn't have the confidence. I wouldn't have, number one, I wouldn't have the speed. I ran a 4.7 as a strong safety. That is pretty much you're slow. They have linemen in the NFL who run faster than that.
Do you know why he did that?
I can't tell you, Annabelle.
I could tell you. He saw something in you.
Yeah.
He saw something in you, whether it's himself, he saw your drive, your passion, something that he saw in you made him do that. And the reason why I know that is because there's people in my life that I have also helped out, and it was because I was inspired by them. Even they probably don't know it. Like, hey, why is this guy helping me out? Why is he doing this? And it's because there's something about that person that I'm like, man, this guy's freaking awesome. I want to help him. You know, I want to provide whatever he's trying to accomplish. I want to help him on along his journey. Yeah. You're like, hey, man, I know you're doing this thing. These are the potholes, you know, prevent these. And when someone gives willingly, it's because they see something in you. You know, because I'm sure there's a bunch of different people that wanted to get his coaching, his expertise. They wanted his time, his attention, and they didn't get it. But you did, because he saw it as an investment. You know,
man, he invested. That investment is still paying dividends today. Yeah. For me. And, you know, he's evolved his business a lot more so out of football now. He mainly trains professional golf players. And Mario, I'll never forget, man, he would have me push cars, sleds. We was running up dirt hills. We was doing all these different things. I'll never forget, he told me, Annabelle, he asked me a question. He said, Andre, you know what the difference is going to, you know what's going to make you different? The difference between you, who are you now, and you 5 years from today. I said, no. He said, the people you meet and the books you read. And at that time, I wasn't even a reader. Yeah. They say if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in the book. For real, man. Hey, I know it's a lot of y'all out there who woke now, right, who reading books and all that. But I'm just saying, it's a lot of us who only hear about the things that are in books, but we don't actually read it. Them, and when you read it and you have a different way of visualizing, imagining things, it affects you differently. Like,
Yeah.
you know, so I started reading different books and I started realizing, damn, I'm not so messed up. It's the things I've been learning in my belief system that has me where I am.
Yeah.
And that was really the journey that led me on to, you know, creating a better life for myself. You know, one of my first books I read was also the Cash Flow Quadrant. But the next book that I really invested in myself, and I'll never forget it, I was a junior in college. I was having a so-so football career, and I read this book by Napoleon Hill, who's my favorite author, called Think and Grow Rich. I will never forget the day I picked up that book.
Yeah.
I still have it to this day.
It's a great book.
I have it in my car right now.
Yeah.
Like, I never forget some of the concepts Napoleon Hill started teaching me, and one of them was called autosuggestion.
Yeah.
And the power of words and visualization. And one thing I always told myself, and it was, I never get interceptions. I never get picks. I would literally say this stuff out loud.
Yeah, they call that affirmations.
Well, I was affirming. People, see, this is the thing about affirmations that a lot of people have have a misunderstanding about. An affirmation can not only be positive.
Yeah.
An affirmation can be very well negative.
Yeah.
If you keep thinking about something, dwelling about something, you develop belief about something. Because what is fear? Fear is just basically you're believing something could go so wrong.
Yeah.
You don't believe the positive of it. Anytime you feel the negative, you know, you have so much faith in the negative that you don't have any faith in the positive. And you affirming something's going to happen in your life. Yeah. I was affirming not getting a scholarship. I was affirming that I was not fast enough and not big enough and not strong enough. And I would say these words out loud.
Yeah.
Until I changed my language.
That's negative self-talk, and it's a poison. It's a poison. And it's funny that you bring up Think and Grow Rich and Napoleon Hill, because this podcast has a lot to do with him. You know, it's essentially a replication of what he did, 50 years ago and shit. So for people that don't know who Napoleon Hill was or his works, Napoleon Hill was pretty much a peasant kid. You know, he was a journalist and a writer. And what he did was that he interviewed the most successful and wealthiest people of his time. At his time, it was, Henry Ford, Alexander Graham Bell, Thomas Edison, all these Carnegie, and these guys are freaking.
That was his mentor.
These are like bazillionaires. You know, they're the founders of America,
entire
and, industries of America. You know, the oil industry, freaking steel industry. These guys are like every single penny that was made at the time came through them some form. Edison, all these people.
Yeah.
And he wrote a book after interviewing all these people, and essentially he broke down their thought process and how to attract wealth into your life. Because all these guys were wealthy, but they were following their passion as well. And in his book, I mean, I've read his book numerous times, and every time I read it, there's something new that I get from it, and I've applied a lot of his principles into my life. And what I'm doing now is essentially the same thing. I'm interviewing successful people in different industries. Like I told you, I interview MMA fighters, bodybuilders, comedians, actors, entrepreneurs, different industries. And what you see over and over and over and over again is that anyone that's successful has one thing in common, and that's their thought process, their mental state, the way that they interpret the world, their positivity, and and it impacts me, like the last guy that I have on, we're talking about like injuries. He was a football player as well, and he had a sports injury in his hip, and it ended his career. He still walks with kind of like a limp, and that injury, led him to a severe depression where he tried to kill himself. He hung himself, and luckily the thing that he hung himself on broke. And it collapsed, and in that dark moment, he went straight to the gym, and he never left. And now he transformed his life through fitness, and that was his demon and his darkness, and he converted it into this light.
Yeah.
And you see it over and over and over again, and it impacts me. Now I want to pursue my own health and fitness.
Yeah, for sure.
And then listening to your story, I want to get back into my passion and my journey and my freedom, because I know at the end of the day, I want to be on the right side of the cash flow quadrant, which is the business owner and the investor. Yeah. Why? Because I want to have freedom. And why do I want to have freedom? Because I want to be able to do the things that I love without having to worry about money.
Exactly.
You know, I love doing this shit. I love interviewing people. I love impacting others. I love helping people. I love learning. I love teaching, you know.
Yeah.
I love creating. I love all this shit. But most people are stuck in a job which they hate. They don't have any passion in their life. They don't have anything they're pursuing. They're depressed. They're sad. They're out of shape. They're unhealthy. And they just work and go home and pay their bills and not pay their bills, and they're sad and they die. And I don't want to live that fucking life. You know, I want to live a life of joy and passion. Yeah. And everyone that I bring onto my podcast is someone that's on that same journey. And as the human experience, which is what we're living, we're all connected in some way, you know, and I want to connect with people that are on the same track that I am. Is they just want to accomplish more. Yeah. They want to do more, and they want to live their life to the fullest and reach their full potential. You know, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but every single time I do an interview with someone, it gets me closer to it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think, you know, when it comes down to, you know, pursuing your passions, one of the biggest things I realize is you hear it over and over from successful people all the time. Is like, you have to learn how to embrace and enjoy the journey. Yeah. You know, it's not so much the destination, but the process that's going to lead you to the destination is the things you have to learn how to enjoy. And I think that's what has a lot to do with the success I have now, is because, you know, when you go watch an NFL game or an NBA game, or you go watch any professional sport, all you see is the game. Yeah. It's a year-round thing, bro. Yeah. Weightlifting, nutrition, running, it's not trying to be. All you see is the, oh my God, yeah, woo, ah, woo. Yeah. No, you didn't see us practicing, you know, since January this year,
running drills over and over
and running the same play that you just, the whole stadium went crazy over. Yeah, and that's what gives me my drive is that knowing that, you know, this is a game, and I'm going to play this game. You know, one of my favorite scriptures, you know, in the Bible is, you know, is that, you know, you're going to perform. If you're going to perform or be in competition in anything, you know, perform to win. Yeah. Go out there to be at your best. And when I look at people, you know, and I realize that God gives, you know, he gives nobody like a special place. You know, he gives nobody like a special place. I mean, everybody is, you know, created equal and the same and given the same opportunity. And he gives like, you know, like no favor to nobody. It's like, man, how bad do you want it is really what's going to determine that. But some people use that as a knockdown, like, dang, look how high he is. I'm never going to get up there. I use that as like, that's the pinnacle. Yeah. Wow, that's pretty dope. Maybe I can get up there. Maybe if this animal, you make $100 million a year and you just teach me how to make 10% of what you make, maybe I don't need to make $100 million. 10% of $100 million is $10 million a year.
That sounds pretty good, bro.
Yeah, that's like $800,000 a month. Most people don't even make that in 20 years.
You know what's funny, man? Everything is relative. You know, everything is relative. Like there's people that make, you know, $30,000 a month, $20,000 a month. You talk to Jeff Bezos, he would commit suicide if he made $30,000 a month. That fool makes like $30 billion, you know? So for him, he's like, I'm making that every 2 seconds, you know, how do you live in your life? You know? Yeah. So it's funny that you mentioned that, but at the same time, it's actually a reason why I started this podcast, is because every time you see a successful person, you know, like, let's say, who's your favorite actor, whatever, who's your favorite football player, whoever it is, who's your favorite MMA fighter, this person. Most people don't know anything about that person other than that, wow, like they're so talented, they're so skilled, you know, the pinnacle, like exactly said. You see these football players playing, man, that's awesome. They don't know the amount of work and effort and struggle and persistency and over and over and repetition and practice and everything that you had to do to get to that point. And the reason why I started this podcast is because right now we live in a crazy time, bro. We live in a crazy time where we need people to pursue their passions. We need people to go after what they want, because everyone's depressed, everyone's broke, everyone's struggling. We went through some crazy ass shit with the whole pandemic thing. Right now, the entrepreneur spirit is pretty strong. You know, everybody's realizing like, hey, man, like growing up, like you said, there was no YouTube.
Yeah, for sure.
When I was a kid, there was barely internet. There was barely social media.
Man, my internet used to go.
Yeah, bro. Like my mom would yell at me, like, "Hey, get off the internet! I'm trying to call your tia and shit." You know. So it's a different time
for sure.
To where information, man, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
You get like whatever you want to do. I want to be a freaking. I want to do nails. Well, guess what? Go on YouTube. You can learn that shit right now. Type in nail school near me, and there's 3 bazillion people that are teaching you how to do nails, eyelashes, haircuts, videography. I want to be a football player. I want to be whatever the hell you want to do. There is so much information out there where before, literally, there was nothing. You know, people were like, how the fuck am I going to figure this shit out? People just getting lucky or being born in the right place at the right time with the right. Now, you could literally be freaking homeless, nothing. As long as you have internet and the ability to talk, you're going to be able to figure shit out.
And we live in a time where somebody could take a mug shot, bro, and go viral and become famous.
That's true. Remember that neck guy?
I do. I was just thinking.
Actually, he just got arrested again.
But I'm just saying, like, why do we know
that? Or that model guy?
Why do we even know that shit? You know what I mean? Like,
hey, bro.
It's the world we live in.
Yeah, it's a different time.
It's just crazy, man, that you really don't have to have any. Shout out to all the people who do have talent, who do put in the work. But I mean, we live in a world where it's all about a trend. A trend could be a friend, and a trend can make you $1 million. But the thing about people who have no financial education, a financial education is a language.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't speak that language, you know, a lot of people, even who win a lottery, you know, I want to say a high 80% of them end up back what they were worth before they won the lottery.
Yeah.
Less than 10 years later.
Yeah.
Even if they went upwards of, I mean, people have won big. Just look at the statistics, y'all. I'm not speaking.
Yeah, the statistics are they speak for themselves. Most people that win the lottery end up broke again.
A high majority, because they don't speak the
almost
language.
All of them.
They don't speak the language of money.
Well, for a couple of reasons. One, taxes. Taxes will automatically take half of your shit if you don't know how to shelter your money. The reason why business owners and entrepreneurs and investors are able to figure this shit out is taxes plays a huge role in wealth.
Yes,
you know,
it does.
If you don't know the tax game, I don't give a fuck how much money you make. It's how much of that money you're going to keep, you know. And the worst place to be as far as taxes is being an employee.
Oh, man, that's the worst, because basically you're telling the IRS. Because
I'm going to work for, let me put it this way. I'm going to work for a full year, and 4 months out of the year is going to the government. It's going to taxes.
Yeah, for sure.
If you're an employee, you know, it sucks, bro. Like looking at your paycheck, like, fuck, they took all this money from me. And then the thing is, if you know how to play the game right, you know, shout out to Donald Trump,
man,
then you can make a shitload of money and keep most of it.
And shout out to Big Gary, man. Big Gary has a video on YouTube, man. I can't remember what it was called, but he's basically in his Maybach, and he was talking about the tax game, about the benefits of taxes, as far as, you know, you going being a W-2 employee, how you get paid, pay taxes, spend what's left over, as opposed to being a self-employed pays how you get paid, spend your money, then you pay what you have left over. So that's a totally different ball game that we could take a deeper dive into. But man, you know, having the right structures as far as corporations, LLCs, trust funds, you know, all these different things, hedge fund, all these different things that you can do to maneuver it. I mean, you could be the rich people say, man, control everything, own nothing.
Yeah.
Control everything, own nothing. So it's just like money. Like I said, it's a whole nother language, and if we're not taught to speak it, the good thing about now, if we're not taught to speak it, there's a lot of successful people. You know, I like, everybody always asks me all the time, man, well, who's your mentor?
Yeah.
I got plenty of them, man. I just go on YouTube and I look up whatever I want to look up, and I find out whatever I want to find out, and I become a student in that game. And I look at what books they've read or things, and I go buy that book, like by Tony Robbins, you know, Money Master the Game.
Yeah.
Man, that one book on money, or you know, the book by Alexander Graham Bell, that red book I got on stocks. You can go buy these books for less than $40 at your local bookstore.
You know what's funny? In the book, you Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, one of the concepts that he teaches on there, it's called the worship of the mind, and it's a concept that a lot of inventors use, which they go into a meditative state. You know, they meditate, and they're not sleeping; they're meditating, And in this meditative state, you create a workshop, and it's in your mind, So let's say you have a problem, whatever it is, football, real estate, business, family, whatever it is. And in your mind, you go into your workshop, and in your workshop, you have a boardroom, right? And in this boardroom, you have all these chairs, and then you have different people. And these are people that you might have never met in your life.
Give them an example, man.
They might be dead.
Yeah,
it could be Jesus Christ.
They don't know how deep this is. When you're reading that book, bro, it's like those words float off the page.
Yeah. So it could be, let's say, it could even be like your mom or dad that passed away, and they passed away, and you still want to speak to them. They could be in that boardroom. They could be sitting there to your left. You can have, Thomas Edison. You can have Leonardo da Vinci. You can have someone that is alive, whoever, let's say, Donald Trump right there,
right?
You can have Beyonce, whoever the hell's there, right?
Yeah.
And you put whatever personality you want them based off of the information, the conversations you had with them, the books you read by them, the videos that you saw by them, so their personality, what they think. Like I've watched so many freaking videos on David Goggins. I never met the guy, I never talked to the guy, but I can envision in my head having a conversation with him.
Exactly.
Right? So this is the workshop of the mind. So I go into my mind, I'm meditating, and I have a problem, like, damn, I really need to fix this thing. I need to figure this shit out. So let me go and talk to my board members. So you go into your mind, you're meditating, and you ask David Goggins, like, hey, man, this is what's going on. How should I deal with it? You know how the fuck David Goggins is going to reply to that shit, right?
Exactly.
You know how freaking Gandhi's going to reply to that. You know how your mom's going to reply to that.
Exactly.
And you take all this information from these people, and they give you an answer. They give you a solution, and you come out of this meditative state, and you go into the actual world, and you apply those principles.
Right.
So it is so crucial to constantly be studying.
Yeah.
Every single day of my life, I am studying, bro. Like, I am trying to figure shit out. I am trying to find the answers to my problems or to my struggles, whether it's financial, emotional, relationships, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Because I want to be fulfilled. I want to have a purpose in life. I want to be happy, and I want to make this life worth something.
Yeah.
There's a concept that I bring over and over again on this podcast, which is a Stoic philosophy of amor fati, love your fate, love your life, love what you have, the cards that are dealt with you, whatever they are, love that shit, and try to make the best out of it.
Yeah.
Play to the cards that you're dealt. I didn't come from the wealthiest family, but I'm not going to leave this earth without being one of them,
Hey, for real.
I didn't come from whatever it is. I don't have the best genetics, but guess what? I'm going to fucking figure this shit out. I'm going to fix my diet. I'm going to work out. I'm going to have the best physique that I possibly could have in my life. Like I said, 10 million, 100 million, whatever it is, I'm going to be happy with the fate that I have. And I'm going to try my best to reach my full potential. And I'm not going to compare myself to anyone because they don't live my life and I don't live theirs.
Yeah.
But I can learn from other people. I can be inspired by other people, and I can accomplish what I want. You know, whatever passions you have in your mind and in your heart, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
Like whatever you have, they're there for a reason.
For sure.
You got to follow that shit,
Yeah, for sure.
Which leads into real estate, which is what you do now. How long have you been in real estate?
I've been in real estate for now. It's been 1 year. 1 year.
How has your first year in real estate been?
Not typical. Most realtors, they sell their first
nothing.
house. Yeah, nothing. Or their first house within 6 months to 8 months to a year.
To be honest, most realtors don't sell shit for never.
Yeah,
and let me tell you by experience, I have my real estate license. I never sold shit.
That's the.
But I am in commercial property management. But still,
that's a 95-5 rule. It's just like 95% of the business is created by 5% of the people who work the business.
Yeah,
And my first year in real estate, man, I've been able, by the grace of God, to do 10 deals.
That's really fucking amazing, bro.
Yeah, I've been able.
And the reason why I say that is because I know the real estate game. And sales is sales, but real estate is a different ballpark. And there's residential real estate and there's commercial real estate, and it's a very different ball game. But either one is tricky. One, there's so much competition.
Yep.
But at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity, you know. And to me, when I read Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the Cash Flow Quadrant, I knew that was my way out. My way of having freedom was real estate. And to this day, that is still my end goal. My end goal is freedom through real estate. I want to have multiple properties that are paying me residual income no matter what. You know, and I do commercial property management, so I know how to manage properties. I just don't have the money yet to buy the property.
That's fine, man. You got the you know, the insider's knowledge. You know, it's just like the best way to do some things to be an owner is to actually work the floor sometime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In order for to be a sergeant, a lieutenant, or do those things, sometimes you have to be out in the field first before you get that promotion, so you understand how to lead and command. And don't have nobody bring you back some bullshit because you've never done it. You know, they call that armchair philosophy. I studied sociology in school. You know, you had armchair philosophy, right? And then you had a different type of philosophy that was called a field philosopher. An armchair is just like I'm doing my study based off of what I'm thinking and sitting back on this. And then you got somebody else in the field who actually going to get real samples, going to different places and bringing back information based on what they actually saw.
Yeah, that's David Goggins. We're talking about that. He talks about that shit too. He's practical. He's doing it. You know, he's lived it. He's not talking about shit he's never done or knows about. He's talking about experience, you know, and that's important. You're talking about that. But wealth, to me, I figured, like, coming from where I came from, which is nothing. You know, my parents are employees, self-employed. You know, we didn't have a lot of money. We didn't have any assets. I knew that after reading that book, Cash Flow Quadrant and Rich Dad Poor Dad, that the best, quickest, and most efficient way for me to get out of poverty and to have long-term wealth was through, you know, real estate, you know, having assets. Can you break down the difference between assets and liabilities?
Yeah, asset is something like most people look at their house as an asset. A home is an asset to most people, right? Because they look at it, oh, I'm building equity, but more so it's taking money out of your pocket more than, because even if you wanted to pull money out the house, you're going to have to go through, get a equity line of credit or a HELOC, or you're going to have to sell that asset. A asset is something that puts money in your pocket that you own, that appreciates. So like a lot of business. A lot of people's assets nowadays are not just real estate. You know, they got digital real estate now. You know, they got digital real estate. What is that? Airbnb Verbo. People don't own properties, but they're doing Airbnb arbitrage where they're getting connected with an owner who owns a property, and it's a win-win situation. You own a property, you want to sell the property. Why don't you keep the property? You only want $1,400 a month. Cool. I'm going to get you $1,400 a month. I'm going to put this thing on Airbnb Verbo, get $2,400 a month for it. I'm going to pay you your $1,400. I'm going to make my $1,000, but I got 7 of these. You know what I mean? Now I'm making $84,000 a year off of something, and I have no ownership. I have no debt. A liability is something like my car. You know, even though it's an asset, because without it, I couldn't have got here. But it's something that I'm not making money as if I put it on a platform like Turo. You know, now it becomes something to where it's less money out of my pocket and more money being put into my pocket because my car payment is $284. Now I'm making $700 off of this. Now it's something that's producing me income, and I'm still being able to pay my bills that maintains that thing. So assets and liabilities, a lot of people got them, you know, misconstrued, and it's not even a hard concept. It's just like, if it takes money out of your pocket and it's not producing more money than it's taking out, it's a liability. It's simple, right? An asset is something that I do own it. It does cost me money, but it's producing me an income that I wouldn't have if I didn't own this.
For people that don't know, you know, what Turo is or what Airbnb is or what all you're talking about, these are apps that allow you to rent your property for a daily rate, hourly rate, monthly rate, to be able to rent out these, you know, properties that you own. So for example, if you buy a car and let's say it's a really, really high-end luxury car. You know, let's say you get a Mercedes or a Lamborghini or Mercedes-Benz that costs you, let's say, $100,000, and let's say your note is $2,000 a month, $3,000 a month, or whatever. You can put it on an app, which is, Turo, and there's other ones, when you can rent out your car for people that need a car or want to whatever on a daily rate. Let's say your daily rate is $300, $400, $800.
That's what they're going for.
Damn, 1,000, 800,
800. Oh, you get a game?
Trust me, people will pay.
Oh, they paying it.
And let's say they rent it for 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. You've already paid your car note. And now you're literally driving this Lamborghini for free. Let's say you have a property. I have so many friends that do Airbnb and do Turo, that are making a substantial income from these formats and these platforms. And it's a business. It's a system.
Business, man.
And there's so many different ways that you can create. Man, I tell people over and over again, we live in an age and time where there's so many people getting wealthy because there's so many opportunities.
Yeah.
There's so much information. There should be no reason why you are struggling, and it's funny because I go through moments of struggling, even though I have all these opportunities and I have all these things, because you have to figure it out.
Yeah, you do.
It's not easy.
You got to put it in the work.
It's not easy. No matter what it is, it could be simple. It doesn't mean it's easy.
No.
It's very, very simple, but it's not easy. And you have to have work ethic. You have to have consistency, and you have to have drive to put in the work behind it to do it, So I see my buddy that has like the Turo. It's not that easy. The car breaks down. He has to go look at it. If you have an Airbnb, people fuck up the place or whatever. You have to invest. You have to buy, the furniture and the design and everything. You have to make sure you make your research. You can't just rent any place. It has to be near a place where, hey, I'm in downtown LA. There's always concerts. There's always football games. There's always conventions. So there's people flying from out of town that are coming in. They want to rent. They rather rent your loft than go to a hotel because it's going to be the same cost, but your shit is way nicer.
Right.
It looks beautiful. It's close to the venue. You have to make the right decisions, So you say things and you expect people like, oh, that's simple. It's not. It is simple, but it's not easy, man.
Yeah, simple. I think the difference between simple and easy is that the people who make it look easy have simplified the process.
Yeah.
And those people, most of the time when they simplify a process, they put in massive work to do that.
Yeah.
And that massive work came out of a massive desire and drive to get something that they didn't have, So if you don't, number one, if you don't start off with knowing something that you really desire and know, too many people say this, it sounds cliche, but know your why.
Yeah.
Like they say, once you know what makes you cry, you know your why.
Yeah. What's your why, bro?
My why is my family, man. Anytime I could just think about.
Are you married? You have kids?
No, I'm not married. I don't have kids. I probably should.
So
have
when you say your
kids.
family, you're talking about your parents and your sisters?
Yeah, man. My parents, my sisters, my aunties, my uncles, just people who have soul. See, and even people like I have relationships with people like you, Annabelle, that have become family.
Yeah.
Blood don't always make you family.
Yeah.
Relationship. Closeness, proximity. Sometimes those things make a difference, and I have coaches who have become my family.
It makes the most difference.
But my why specifically comes from my intermediate family.
Yeah. When
I think about my mom, she grew up with lupus. You know what I'm saying? I used to see my mom lined up with more pill bottles than my rings. You know what I mean? I'm just pill bottles everywhere. She got a pill for a pill for a pill for a pill for a pill. You know what I mean? I'm just like, goodness gracious. Me just praying as a little kid, hoping my mom one day won't be sick. People asking me if that's my grandma, and I'm in 5th or 6th grade, and their moms are these little young moms, and, and my mom's not that much older, but some of the medication she was taking at the time, had a direct effect on her body. What you put into your body is going to definitely affect, your physical appearance, your mental, your mindset, your attitude, and she just still made it happen.
Yeah. Went
to work at Kaiser, had a divorce, her and my father, just the different things that she had to go through. Even my dad's story, I give a shout out to both of them. They in a different position nowadays with a lot of prayer, but when I just think of them, man, it's just something that just just motivates the hell out of me. Yeah. I literally can't stop, bro. I'm one of them people who people give themselves too many reasons to quit. I can't. The reasons to quit are more reasons to keep it going, because it's just like, bro, cool. If it's 10 of us and 80 y'all quit, you making it that much easier for me to succeed now.
Yeah.
That's my mindset. I got that dog in me. Everybody don't got that dog. Yeah. I got that stuff. Man, it's like it's in me.
What people need to realize is that what you're talking about, that dog in you, it's a burning desire, it's a passion. Whoever you are, you can find that shit. You got to figure it out. Whether it's like, hey man, like for you, it's your mom, it's your dad, it's your family. Other people could be their kids. It could be like,
exactly,
whatever it is, whether it's positive or negative, you need to find fuel to burn your desires, to go after it, because shit is hard, man. It's not easy.
All right, bro.
And what's going to get you to get up early, stay up later, study more, put in those extra hours, grind, is like, it's that fuel. And it could be, like I said, positive or negative. I find myself in the gym sometimes trying to figure out, like, sometimes it's negative, bro. Like, fuck these motherfuckers. I'm going to prove them wrong,
exactly.
And I use that. Or sometimes it's positive, like, hey man, I want to help my family. I want to do this. It could be positive. Or I don't care what your drive is. Use what is in front of you to get you to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Period.
And that's good that you have a positive motivator, because not all people have that. Sometimes people use negative motivators to accomplish what they want, and that's fine too. Whatever's going to get you to get to your goal and to your best self, use that shit.
You got to have, like me growing up, I was like overweight. People made fun of me.
Yeah.
Like I told you in my football career, I wasn't big enough, strong enough, fast enough. I got kicked out of schools, for being in arguments, but I always had something that I just believed in myself. And it was that negative that you're not going to tell me what I can or can't do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to prove it. And then I always had that encouragement from my family to kind of like, go after it, son, go after it, go after it. And that kind of pushed me. But I would say the biggest thing that I learned, you don't really need motivation. Motivation is a whole bunch of bullshit, because motivation can go and come, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like doing it, I'm going to do it. If I don't feel like doing it, I'm not going to do it. What you need is persistence. You need dedication. You need to see yourself at the end of the road. What's that look like for you? So if I stop today, if I miss the workout today, if I don't study my book today, it's prolonging me on this journey. But if I continue to do the hard thing today, eventually it's going to be the easy thing tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the level 10 problem is now a level 2 problem, but it's going to stay a level 10 if I'm at the same place I was 365 days ago. But if I chip away at it 25 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, that hard thing is going to become something that was now become easy. And I'm on to another thing that's compounding into me scaling my business, scaling my mind, scaling my body, scaling whatever it is you're doing. Yeah. You got to make that time for you. Yeah. You can't get so busy in your family. You can't get so busy in doing all these different things and inundate yourself with the Netflix and the chilling and all this, the drinking and or whatever, the smoking and doing this and that, and that you put yourself on the back burner. You got to love others as you love yourself. And if you don't love yourself first, you're never going to get there. Yeah. If you don't love yourself to get up and go to the gym when it's hard, to get up and not drink when you said you wasn't, to get up and not, turn off the Netflix and turn on that $300 course. You know how many people buy courses from you? Man, Animal, you're going to sell courses. You know how many people going to buy your courses and not be successful? People going to buy my course and not be successful? It's going to be a lot of people because they don't have a system in place to get them to say, I'm not motivated today. Let's go ahead and go to Chili's. Like that little stuff. It's just like those type of little things, man, is what keep people on the damn fence. And those are the type of things that's my edge. Yeah. Like, bro, get off the fence today. Stop doing that. I look at myself like, bro, you've been fucking around for the past 5 days. Yeah. Don't nobody got to slap me and tell me that. I know it. Yeah. Those are the types of things that I know a lot of successful people, at least the type of success that I want to have. Yeah. These are some of the things that's going to inhibit me from getting where I want to go. So I try to work on the things that I know are the tough things and work on those things every day in my business, in my family, in my body. Being uncomfortable is just really going to get me to that next level. If I'm just so comfortable, it's just like, what am I really doing?
There's this public speaker named Brian Tracy. He has a book called Eat the Frog, which means like that shit that you really don't want to do, that is like you're putting off, but it's going to give you the most like success and the most value. Right. Do that shit.
Eat that frog, bro.
Eat that fucking frog. And it's funny you say that because like, sometimes there's things that I know I need to do this shit, but I really don't want to do them. Right. And I was talking to the last guy on my podcast, Isaac. He's a personal trainer. He went through a transformation. He's a transformation specialist. And I was telling him, hey, man, I want to have that discipline that you have. And he said, the first thing you got to do is, remove that word discipline. It's consistency. Yep. Because sometimes you really don't want to do shit, but you got to be consistent. because everybody, I believe most people, I won't say everybody, most people know what they need to do.
Yep.
And they just don't do it.
No.
And if you're consistent, like, hey man, like I know I need to stop drinking.
Yep.
I need to eat right. I need to work out every single day. I need to spend 2 hours a day on my business. I need to market. I need to make more sales calls. I need to promote myself more. Yeah. And they just don't do it.
Yep.
They just don't do it. Do the things that you're supposed to do and be consistent with those things. And then what will happen is you will see results. And when you see results, you will get motivated. You will get excited.
You sure will.
And you want to do more of that shit.
You sure will.
And that's the hard part for people, is being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm speaking out of my own personal experience, because I know there's times where like, fuck, why am I not doing that shit? Why am I not doing it? And going back to what we talked about is when you go through those moments of like, man, why am I not doing this? Why am I not accomplishing this? Find that fuel and think about it like, man, whether it's positive or negative, like, I got to do this for my mom. I got to do this for my dad. I got to do this for myself. I got to do this stuff. Man, fuck that motherfucker. I'm going to prove them wrong. Whatever it is, you got to figure it out, and everybody's different. You'll hear 100 stories and they're all different.
For sure.
But at the end of the day, it's about consistency and doing the right thing over and over and over and over again until it becomes a habit. It becomes a second nature, and then you become an expert. Yep. And once you become an expert, then you're good to go. It's like
you start attracting things to yourself at that level.
Yeah, and everybody feels like, man, I'm getting traction. I'm getting comfortable with this. I know what I'm doing. I'm confident. I know what I'm doing, and then things just flow. And that's kind of the trajectory that I'm going with in my life. Is I have a lot of goals, and I have my own life purpose, and I want to impact as many people as I possibly can with what I'm doing. And that's a big reason as to why I do this podcast, is to connect with people that are on the same trajectory, because I feel that you're on the same path where you want to impact people, you want to change your life dramatically, and you want to be successful, free, and happy. And I think we could all accomplish that in this society, in this world, in this life. But it's going to take a lot of work, So going back into what you're doing now, you're in real estate. You left the football world. You were successful in that. You took all those skills and traits and drive from the football world, and you brought it into the real estate world, into the entrepreneurship world, into the public speaking world, and you're being very successful. What are your ultimate goals, man? What is next for you?
Man, when I visualize my life, I look at it as like being a mogul.
Okay.
I look at it as more so having, I think too many people, like for me, they try to put, their eggs in multiple baskets. They always say, oh, entrepreneurs have 7 streams of income. It's true. But like for Warren Buffett, it was investing into insurance companies that allowed him to get all his money.
Yeah.
It was for somebody to own an NBA team that allowed them to really own X, Y, and Z. It was people owning real estate that allowed them to own multiple franchises and multiple El Polocos. So I just like me, my focus right now is to build a monster of a, I work for a company called Coldwell Banker. Oh, yeah. And Coldwell Banker is one of the oldest real estate companies in the United States.
They're one of the biggest.
Yeah, and they're one of the biggest. And I just think about it like, why can't I be a Coldwell Banker? Yeah. Why can't I have systems that work, and I have different people who are out there, going out here crushing it, making millions of dollars, and I get a small percentage of that.
Yeah.
It's not even about the company. It's about the business and systems that I'm producing, but that's going to put me in a position to now, we do run a podcast, right? I can come back to Annabelle, or Annabelle can come back to me one day, and we give $100,000, $200,000 in funding. Now his podcast went from XYZ views to this views, and you get a small percentage of that. Like different things like that. My goal is to really, become a broker and allow that relationship from me being a broker and real estate to develop into owning, multi-unit buildings like Grant Cardone. I love Grant Cardone. I love to see, man, he owns these apartment complexes that are luxury, big, giant buildings. That's like my thing right there. It's just I can't stop thinking about it.
I love Grant Cardone. I purchased a lot of his products, and he's for sales strategy and sales tactics. He's really, really good.
I just can't stop thinking about when I drive by buildings, Annabelle.
Yeah,
I be like, damn, it's $150 million. Like one day I'm going to finance that. I'm gonna buy that one day.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm shying away from it. It's just like a hell yeah moment. Like, hell yeah. Even if I start off with an $80,000 building in Kansas City, that's 16 doors, it's all run down, and I got to rehab, I'm going to get that motherfucker. I'm going to get that. Yeah. It's like that type of feeling for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I got it tattooed on me, like, no pain.
You got big arms, bro. I didn't realize how big your arms were.
Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like that. Yeah. It's even looking at you, Annabelle, I can see it in your face like that. Like, bro, if we were teammates, like, bro, I could, it's just like that Spartan. And people, I don't have that. No, you have that.
Yeah.
But you don't realize it. And number one, you don't believe in yourself. You know, like if anything me and Annabelle got that you guys don't have is we have a belief to just try it.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to miss all the shots you don't take, bro. Yeah. You're going to miss all the shots you don't take.
Yeah.
So why not just, if you know you're going to miss for sure, you don't take none, what happens if you take a couple?
Yeah, most people are afraid of failing, and they don't understand that failure is a process of winning, of success, of accomplishing. No one goes like, you know, it's a process. It's a process. Sure. It's up and down, all the way up to the top. And as you learn new things, you're able to be more efficient with what you're doing. But you have to be able to risk. See, the difference between the left side of the cash flow quadrant, which is employee, self-employed, and the right side of the cash flow quadrant, which is business owners, investors, is risk and fear. Yeah. The reason why people on the left choose to be an employee and self-employed is because they are seeking safety. They are seeking, consistency. And the people on the right, they want freedom, so they're willing to risk. There is a risk involved in going after big things, and that fear is what stops most people. Like, shit, what if I fail? What if they make fun of me? What if I look stupid? What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? And that what if, man, that's a fucking dream crusher, bro. It crushes so many dreams, and most people never go after what they want because, like, what if I fail? But what people don't understand is that same what if, just switch it, man. What if I do succeed? Mm-hmm. What if I am successful? What if I do win? What if I do make those millions? What if I am this? What if I am that? And that motivation will carry you to chase after what you really want.
Because really, man, you know, job is false safety. You know, it's false security. I see my dad work at
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, I see my dad work at NASA for 26 years. He ended up getting fired.
Dang. From NASA?
From having different bosses come through. All of a sudden, my dad's an older guy on there. They got new systems coming in. He not learning as fast as he want to. Not saying he didn't learn it, but as fast as he want to. Yeah. Now they fire him and they pay two younger people his salary, but now they getting twice the work done. You know, like seeing my mom have to medically retire from Kaiser after working there for 18 plus years. She got a medical retirement, ended up leaving with half of her, you know, the money that she was making. It's just like, man, a job is not something that is ultimately secure either. It's like people are afraid, you know, of being rich. People are afraid of being broke. And it's just like, man, which one are you going to choose? You know, so when it comes down to having a job or something like that, it's nothing wrong with having a job. But if you don't have something that's eventually going to pay you without working, you're going to be working forever.
Right.
You know, you're going to be working forever, and it's not going to put you in a position to ever not work that job. You know, so I seen that happen with my parents. I seen them go through, be loyal, and see how unloyal these jobs are to people who've been doing the right things. And, you know, let alone if you get fired, they got a new person working the job the next day. What happens if you die? They got a new person working the job the next day. What happens if they want to give you a demotion or a promotion? Oh, I got promoted. How much you get it promoted for? Oh, I'm making $4 more an hour, and people are doing backflips in the driveway for that type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the difference between being an employee and being a business owner, is that you don't have any equity in the business. So, for example, if I own a business and I die, guess what? My kids are going to still own that business.
Exactly.
My wife is still going to own that business. But if I have a job and I die, guess what? My kids, my wife, they're making shit. They're not making a penny.
Nothing.
And when I die, they're gonna replace my position within 2 weeks. Yeah. They're gonna hire someone else, and it's just another cog in the wheel. So a business owner creates a system, creates an entity, a system that can operate without them being there. And that's what I want to do. Is I want to create a system. I want to create a business that can operate without me being there, and I still get compensated. And why do I get compensated? Because I took on all the risk. I was the one that took the time to study and create the business, create the system, and create the marketing, create the brand, and hire the people and train the people and develop the people and pay them their salary. And they have that sense of security because I created that for them. And as the creator, as the developer, as the owner, I deserve the freedom.
You do.
And
you get all the tax benefits to it too.
That too. And why do I get those tax benefits? Because I created employment. I created a system where people can come into it. They can make an income. They can make a salary. They can provide for their family. They can pay their rent. They can get food. They can pay their bills because I was the one that took all the risk and I created that shit. And I should deserve the accolades behind it. So you should never look down on your boss as the owner. Like, oh, man, this guy's never here. This guy's never there. Like, he does it. Well, then you go fucking do it. Man. Let me see you do that shit.
For real.
And you're probably not because you're scared and you're not going to do it. But guess what? You can. You can do it. If you have the guts, if you have the will, if you have the ability to listen and be coachable by those that came before you that have been through that and can teach you and mentor you, which is why I believe mentorship is one of the quickest ways to success and to freedom, is finding other people that have been through there. And they don't have to be actual people that you talk to. Like we said, I could read a book from someone and learn from them.
Exactly.
I could watch a freaking YouTube video and be like, he's my mentor. Like, have you met him? Like, no, I've never met that fool, but he's my freaking mentor because I freaking study his shit. So I have people in my life that I consider as mentors that I don't have a personal connection with, but that I have studied so much. Philosophy is a thing that I've never met Marcus Aurelius. I've never met Seneca. I've never met Jesus Christ. I've never met Thomas Edison. But guess what? They're mentors of mine because I've studied them so much and I know their thought process. I know their philosophy. I know their viewpoint. I know their creation from studying them, that I can apply that in my life. And anybody could do that. Whatever you want to do, find a mentor. Let's say you want to be a tattoo artist. Find someone that you like their work, that you want to do something similar to that, but with your own twist and your own passion and your own drive, and study from them, learn from them, and then apply that in your life. And man, I really, I'm grateful for you being on this podcast.
Thank you, man, for having me.
It's a great show. I definitely want to have you come back on, because I feel we kind of went all over the fucking place.
Hey, but that's all right, man. Sometimes, all over the place, man, is mean that we're going to touch so many different people with this. Yeah. Because somebody can connect in the first 5 minutes. That's somebody who, in when it's a half hour in, didn't. Yeah. And then in a half hour, somebody else going to connect in 45 minutes when a person in the 25 minutes, you know what I mean? Yeah. That's the good thing about your story, you being Latino, me being black, you coming from where you coming from, and telling people, because there's people who might want to play sports, and there's people right now who are dying to own a damn microphone. Yeah. They just want their first microphone, Chris. Yeah. I mean, they just want their first microphone, Hannibal. Like just buying this microphone will be success to them. Yeah. And you're living it. You know what I mean? Yeah. The studio, the cameras, like, no matter what you think about yourself, bro, this is success. Yeah. Having guests come in. Bro, I drove an hour to be here. Yeah. It's not no small thing at all. You know what I mean? This is success. The energy that we putting out in this universe right now, it's going to respond to us, bro, because they said they're going after something. They putting this passion out, and it's only going to, if we plant a lemon seed, the lemon tree is going to grow. Yeah. We're planting the seeds of passion, inspiration, drive, saying that, hey, you got to respond. Yeah. We're putting a demand on the universe. We're putting a demand on God, saying that, hey, if this is what you said in your word, that speak things not as though they were, that if we got a passion, we got to drive for something, and it's going to come into existence if we believe and faint not, bet it's happening right now. Yeah. It might not be somebody might pick up your podcast, bro, 2 years from now and want to buy your masters. And you like, that's why? True. You like, man, why? Because now you got 88 episodes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? 120 episodes, and you got all this different content about.
Yeah, that's the beauty about this, everything we're doing here, that it's written in the ether forever, bro. And this episode, once it's posted on the World Wide Web, it will never be gone. And years from now, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it'll still be there. And the evolution of us is not going to stop. You're going to continue to grow. I'm going to continue to grow. And that's a freaking beautiful thing, because I'm going to continue to do what I do. You're going to continue to do what you do. And guess what? We're both going to grow and evolve. And, I'm sure we're going to have other episodes where you come back on and be like, hey, man, I bought that $7 million property.
Hey, man.
Tell me about that shit, man.
Speaking that into existence right now.
And it's going to be an interesting journey. And, I think people are going to be invested in watching your growth and my growth and everybody. And at the same time, we're going to impact a lot of people, because right now there's a lot of people that want to accomplish things, and they just, need some inspiration, some guidance, and some drive. So if you guys are out there and are looking for a mentor or looking for a new way of thinking, you can always contact Andre or myself. What's the best way to reach you, brother?
Man, all my social media platforms, man. My name on Instagram is Andre. It's at Andre the Giant _1M. I get fake pages made all the time, though, you guys. So it's literally,
hey, those OnlyFans aren't mine, guys.
Man, for real. I'm not sure. Might be. Man, I'm not sure of my toes. You don't want to see those, man. Ask my girl. But look, it's Andre the Giant _1M on Instagram.
Yeah.
You can find me on TikTok as well as MMG Realtor.
Yeah.
Miles and Miles Group Realty.
Awesome.
So MMG Realtor on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook at Andre Myles Jr. And those are pretty much my platforms. My number is posted up on social media. I'm not gonna give it out on this platform at this moment, because, man, we're not doing counseling, right? We're doing mentorship to get you to a goal, not just to, soothe you and have you call us back about the same exact problem the next week. You might need to seek some professional help if that's why you're gonna call me or
go get a therapist, bro.
Yeah, hey, go to therapy, man.
I'm not a therapist.
I went to therapy and it blessed me a lot.
I had my therapy session today, bro.
For real?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey,
I did.
Today
was interesting because I'm gonna do something called EMDR, which is a cognitive a therapy where you follow this line and you go into your childhood trauma and then you bring that shit to light. So I'm actually very scared of going into it.
And I can't wait to see what you're gonna learn from that, bro. Because
I'm gonna have a therapist on the podcast in a couple of weeks, and I'm gonna touch on that because, to be honest, it's a pretty intense thing that I'm gonna be going through.
Yeah, because it's just like, man, it's so bogged down. It's just like going to look for a World War II missile in the middle of a field where the war happened. It's just like, man, you got to dig and get the metal detector out to finally find the problem.
Yeah.
But once you find it, you could dig it up, and you're not just dealing with the fruit on the tree. You could dig up the roots, expose the roots, and take those things out and start to realize what affected your process. And that's why I love Tony Robbins so much. But we'll talk about that later. Man, I had a great experience on Dreams to Reality, man. I even appreciate you having the creative cognizance to put something like this together.
Yeah.
Put a space like this together, invest your time and your money into getting people's stories and messages out there.
Yeah.
What you doing, Hannibal, I don't think it's light. And, man, I appreciate you having your boy on the show.
Thank you, brother.
And
we're definitely going to have you back on the show. And anybody out there that's looking to buy or sell a property, make sure to reach out to Andre. He will take care of you.
That's right.
He's an utmost professional. And make sure you guys subscribe to his Instagram, follow his page, follow our IG, our YouTube page, subscribe.
That's right, man.
And,
Holla at your boy.
We'll see you guys next time.
Holla at your boy, y'all. Peace, man.
Peace and love.